All right. Hello, everybody. Chief Meteorologist Hunter Williams here. Time is just after 9 o'clock on this Thursday evening. Thought we would hop on live to KVUE Plus and YouTube and Facebook, all of our streaming platforms, and talk a little bit about the forecast for this evening. It does include a chance for a few strong to severe storms, mainly across the hill country. Now, want to be clear about this. I don't see any sort of severe weather outbreak. I don't see a ton of severe weather tonight, but I do think it's a situation where we could have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings, mainly watching for hail potential and wind potential. And this threat's going to start across the hill country around 2 a.m. late overnight, and it's going to run through about 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Then we're actually going to have a cold front that moves through, so this weekend's not only going to be dry, but it's going to be a cooler forecast. We're looking at highs in the 60s and mornings that will be back down in the 40s. So as we've given folks a few minutes to tune on here, wanted to get into the forecast. Here's what's going on right now. Very little. We have had some scattered showers, a little bit of drizzle if you were driving around today. Maybe you had to run the windshield wipers a few times. We certainly haven't had any stormy weather. You can see in the pink, that is a severe thunderstorm warning, severe thunderstorm watch that was issued for San Angelo up into the big country. There's also some weather, but this is not severe right now, impacting parts of North Texas and the Dallas-Fort Worth area. As we go into tonight, there's actually a broader storm system back west. As that approaches, that's going to generate a few more storms farther south. That's what's going to move into our area. So this is the updated storm outlook. This has been changed a little bit since we last spoke at 6, and it mainly includes areas north and northwest of here. This is a closer look, though, for our KVUE area. For Austin, they've actually trimmed the marginal level 1 risk and pushed it back up to the north. So Austin no longer included in this low-end severe risk for tonight. And really for the metro, I don't expect, it's a very low chance for severe weather for the metro. But as you get into Round Rock and Georgetown, far northern Wilco, Jarrell, and then especially back west into the hill country, Burnett, now down to Fredericksburg, Llano, Mason, that level 2 slight risk, that's where the chances are a little bit higher to see a few stronger storms, especially as they first move in overnight. Then we kind of pick things up on the day 2 outlook. This is for Friday, where Austin's clipped in the level 1 marginal risk, but again, really it's the level 2 we're watching closely. That's for far northern Wilco into Milam County for tomorrow morning. This is only early in the day, though. I really think by 9 a.m. all of the stormy weather is gone. It's probably mainly gone by 8 a.m. Wanted to break down the categorical outlook. So this is each risk kind of broken down one by one. This is the hail outlook. This is my main concern for tonight, especially in that yellow area. That is a 15% chance of hail within 25 miles of a given point in that area. That is mainly highlighting the hill country and that slight risk. Here's the wind outlook, which is pretty much identical. Then this is the tornado outlook. Technically, the 2% area does go into northern Burnett, Llano, and Mason County. The tornado risk is very low tonight. I do not expect a tornado, but it's not a completely zero chance. So my advice, especially if you live in this green shaded area, even if you just live in the slight risk area, download the KVUE app. Hopefully you have it already. You probably do if you watch this sort of stuff. Keep your ringer on. Just make sure you have a way to get any weather alerts overnight just in case we have any warnings that are issued. So let's go into our model now and let's time things out. We have some new model data, so this is also updated since we last spoke at 6 o'clock. And it is showing still a line of storms closing in on our western hill country areas, starting with Mason County just after 2 a.m. So this is 2:30. Let's keep going into 4 a.m. At that point, from Fredericksburg to Llano, we have thunderstorms moving in. And again, they could be strong with hail, gusty winds. The idea, though, is that they weaken as they move in from the west and make it farther east. So let's keep going into about 6 a.m. At that point, we could have a broken line of showers and thunderstorms moving into the Austin metro. But as we look at that, that's looking pretty tame. Again, the severe weather threat in the metro, it's not zero, but it's a very low threat. We're mainly watching these storms as they first move in across the hill country. We keep going into 8, 9 a.m. Most of the storms kind of weakening east of I-35, but we'll have to keep an eye out, especially over Caldwell, Fayette County, even though those areas are not included in the risk. You guys have seen this happen enough times. You know those areas can always catch a strong storm, so we'll watch that. There's 9 a.m. The rest of the day is going to be dry. We hang on to some cloud cover for a while. Actually, I think we have a decent bit of sunshine by the afternoon. High temperatures are still going to make it into the low, if not mid 80s tomorrow. But then tomorrow evening, a pretty strong little cold front's going to move through. There's not going to be any rain with this second front moving through, but it's going to drop our temperatures pretty noticeably. We'll be in the 40s by the morning on Saturday, and our afternoons are actually going to stay in the 60s over the weekend. This is our breakdown as far as severe weather threats. Again, I'm not trying to scare anybody. I don't expect a ton of severe weather tonight, but if we get a couple of storms, one or two of them that act up and start to get severe warned, mainly it's a hail threat. Damaging winds number 2, but it's a lower threat. The isolated tornado risk, it's not 0, but it's very, very low. I'm not worried about flooding at all just because these storms are not going to be producing a ton of rain to begin with. And on that note, I will show you our future rainfall from our graph model. That's the model that I just showed you. It's showing only a few hundredths of an inch for most, but if you get under a stronger storm in the hill country, could you get a quick quarter of an inch to a half-inch plus? That's possible, but don't expect a ton of rain out of this. This is our 5-day temperature forecast. 83 tomorrow, and then the highs go down to the 60s Saturday and Sunday, especially Saturday with that breezy wind. That's going to feel pretty cool, especially relative to some of the weather we've had recently. We'll be back to a milder, even a warmer forecast by early next week. So here's kind of the breakdown tonight. It's cloudy, it's mild, 65. There's we'll say a 50% chance for storms late tonight into tomorrow morning. So I'm going to give us kind of a blanket 50% chance tonight, tomorrow morning. A few of those storms could be strong to severe. Then we're dry by tomorrow afternoon, 83 the forecast high. Saturday, 40s in the morning, 60s for the afternoon. Y'all remember we spring forward Saturday night into Sunday, so we will lose an hour of sleep, gain an hour of daylight, or gain an hour to our sunset. 66 on Sunday. Monday, 73. Tuesday, 77. We're in the 80s Wednesday. And then Thursday, the long-range model showed pretty good rain and storm chances around Thursday, Friday of next week. Of course, we'll need to get a little bit closer before we can lock any of that in. But seeing some optimistic signs in the models for some more active weather late next week. So that is what we are tracking for you. Let me know. I'm keeping an eye here on Facebook. If you're watching on KVUE Plus or app, I can't see any of the comments, but kind of keeping an eye on things. If you guys have questions, please let me know. And of course, let's see, it's 9:13 coming up in less than an hour. Looks like we still have the State of the Union going on. After that, we'll have our full newscast, KVUE News at 10 o'clock, so we hope everybody can join us there. But if not, we've got a full article, KVUE.com, KVUE app. We've got everything published. Shane and I are going to be doing a handoff tonight at about 2 a.m., so while we're not looking at a big severe weather threat, y'all know the deal. We will be here making sure, just in case something pops up, that we are ready to bring you guys information on it. So let's go through things one more time, and then I will sign off of here. Here's what's going on right now, which is not very much. There's some stormy weather north of Waco up towards Dallas. None of that is severe. There is a severe thunderstorm watch from San Angelo into the Texas Big Country. Earlier, there was a number of severe thunderstorm warnings there. I have not had any tornado warnings across the state today, but a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings. All of those, for now, have expired, but there's a broader system that's now moving into West Texas. That's going to generate probably another batch of rain and storms. That's the one that moves into our area later on tonight. This is our new slight risk area, which is mainly focused on areas to our north, and I know it looks kind of funny. That's because we have a few different batches of storms that they're trying to account for. Here locally, this is what it looks like. The level 1 has now been pushed north, so it doesn't include Austin for tonight. The day 2 does kind of clip Austin. Round Rock, Georgetown, marginal risk. That goes out to Blanco, Dripping Springs. But really, we're watching from Fredericksburg to Burnett to Llano to Mason with the better chance for severe weather and that slight risk. Here's the day 2 risk, which again kind of clips Austin. Just kind of funny because the cutoff is tomorrow morning, so we're using 2 days for this one round of storms. Far northern Williamson County into Milam County. That's the Friday outlook. Here's the hail categorical outlook. The yellow is a 15% chance for hail within 25 miles of a point. Earlier, we had the hatched area, which meant that significant hail was possible. The good news is they've gotten rid of that. Here's the wind outlook. It's the same as the hail outlook, same areas. The tornado outlook is really only highlighting Mason, Llano, and far northern Burnett County. The tornado risk is very, very low, but it's not 0. Again, a 2% chance within 25 miles of a point. So let's go into our model now. By 2:30 a.m., our storms are starting to move in across the hill country. Here is 4 a.m. Could have some stormy weather, some loud storms from Fredericksburg, Gillespie County into Llano County. The idea, though, is that these will weaken as they move east. So this is all looking pretty tame as this stuff rolls into the I-35 corridor in the metro around 5 or 6 a.m. Could it still be strong in spots? Maybe. But the idea, again, as this stuff moves into the metro, I do think it will be weakening. The severe threat for Austin is pretty low. We'll keep an eye on things through about 9 a.m. tomorrow morning, and that is it. The afternoon will be dry, warm, breezy, highs in the 80s. A dry cold front moves through tomorrow evening. It's going to be windy. You'll feel that around 8 or 9 p.m. And then slowly it's going to bring in some cooler air. We'll be in the 40s by the time we wake up Saturday morning. Severe threats, it's mainly a hail threat and mainly across the hill country. Number 2, I'm going to say damaging winds, the isolated tornado threat. It's not 0, but it is low. I see Roxy in the Facebook chat is asking, are we expecting hail? Yes, that is the main concern, especially if you live west of I-35 in the northern hill country. I'm not concerned about flooding, and this is why. A, these storms are going to be moving. B, not everybody's necessarily going to see storms. So I don't expect a ton of rain out of this. Maybe some spots getting a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch plus across the hill country. This is, if you're wondering, what is that in the background? Our tower cam is now shrouded in low cloud cover, but the high temperatures 80s tomorrow, will be in the 60s though over the weekend before we rebound next week. Tonight 65, cloudy, mild, a 50% chance for storms. A few could be severe. That 50% takes us into early tomorrow morning. Storms moving out by 9 a.m. and then we become partly cloudy and then probably mostly sunny by the end of the afternoon, a high of 83. A cold front tomorrow evening brings in a cool down for the weekend. 40s Saturday morning, 60s for the afternoon. 45 Sunday morning as we spring forward, so you lose an hour of sleep. 66 Sunday, we're in the 70s Monday, Tuesday, 80s Wednesday, and then rain chances are increasing for Thursday, about a 40% chance for rain. So that is what we are tracking. I will let you guys go. Looks like we're all squared away here. I will let you go. Coming up in about 43 minutes from now, we'll have our full newscast, excuse me, on KVUE News at 10. Again, we'll be here watching things through the late evening and tomorrow morning. And if we need to hop back on to our streaming platforms, we will. Y'all have a good night, and we'll see you on KVUE News tonight at 10 o'clock.